Hi Emily and those that are watching this video. In this video, I will walk you step by step in how to make the authentic Mexican chicken soup called caldo de pollo. Okay, well first what you're gonna do is get a pot deep enough for the amount of chicken that you're gonna make. You're gonna put the stove on high. You're gonna fill up this pot halfway with water. As you're boiling the water, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start cutting the chicken. What I do is I cut it in pieces, and if it's a quarter leg, I'll cut it in half, and I'll make sure all the fat around it, like this right here, I'll cut that off. Also, the accessible skin that's around. Sometimes I take all the skin off, but they say that the flavor is in the skin of the chicken. So, as I'm doing here, I'm cutting away on all the fat of the chicken skin. Here is the little booty, the chicken butt. As you can see, I've cut several chicken butts, and some people use these for flavor too. You could throw those in the pot, but I don't. I kind of keep them on the side. So, in doing all this, again, more excessive chicken skin, you're gonna look at the chicken around and see if you can have all that fat cut off. Now, as your water is boiling, you're gonna put your chicken into the water so it can boil. Each piece, and like I said, I cut it in half. I don't put the full leg quarter because some people just like the leg, or some people like the rest of the chicken. Some people like it whole. So here it is. Okay, well, here we have all the vegetables. We have cilantro, we have squash, zucchini. I like both, the yellow squash, zucchini, and here's the potatoes. I keep the skins on that. Here's the carrots, and here's the celery, and I got also lemon. And then I also have chile jalapeno. I'll tell you what to do with this later. Some people like their soup kind of hot, and we'll add it later. Here are your spices. First, you have your cumin, which is comino, ground comino. Then you have your onion powder. Then you have your garlic powder, ajo de pollo, and then you have this spice called nor, caldo de tomate, which means soup of tomato soup. Then you have this other nor, it's caldo con sabor de pollo, which is the flavoring of chicken. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna chop all our vegetables. Now here, what I do is I keep the skin on the potato, but if you don't want the skin, you can take it off. I've heard that the skin gives it a lot of flavor too. So you want to chop them up in little cubes. Your squash also, I cut them so they could split up like this. I cut them long ways. And then you have your celery. I also cut these in little bit, like maybe medium size. Then your carrots, I cut them a little bit big too. I don't try to chop it too small. I give it just enough. And then I get cilantro. And the cool thing about cilantro too is you can see I leave a little bit of the stem on it because they say that the flavoring is in the stem. So you want to keep a little bit of the stem on the cilantro when you cook. And then also the jalapeno. What I do is, you'll see later on this video, is I cut it sometimes and add it to the soup. Here, what you're gonna see is sometimes when you use the whole quarter leg, you're gonna get some fat floating on the top. What you wanna do is go ahead and scoop that out. Sometimes when I use like the chicken legs, the chicken leg doesn't do this as much, but you know, This happens whenever there's a lot of fat into the chicken. You want to take that out and take it right out of the pot. You could sometimes just probably take all the chicken out and then resubmit it. So anyways, this is what the pot looks like. We're going to start adding our seasonings. First, you can get the tomate, nor, and since this is a half a teaspoon measurement, we're going to go ahead and put a whole teaspoon. So 2 of these halves make a whole. So we're going to go ahead and add 4 of these. As you can see later on in the video, we're going to go ahead and add some more of this. And of course, it's going to be to your liking. I like my soup really red, tomato flavor for it to really come out. So as I said, later on in this video, I'm going to go ahead and add some more of that. But for now, we're doing 2 teaspoons, full teaspoons. You're going to mix that in. Okay. Now, we're not done putting the whole teaspoons in there. Here we go. As you can see, I'm adding another half and then 1 more half makes 2 whole teaspoons. But then again, like I said, later on in the video, you'll see I'll add a lot more of this spice. So keep it out. Don't put it away yet. Here's the other one called caldo de pollo, sabor de pollo. This is kind of like a yellow spice. It gives it the more chicken flavor. Has a blend of different seasonings in here. And I like this brand a lot. I use this also with my rice. I use it for different dishes that I make. So here is, you put 2 teaspoons or 4 halves of teaspoons in here. And then you start mixing it up. There you go. And you can see that my chicken, it's boiling and it's cooking at a good pace. You want to check your chicken to see if you see the skin starting to roll back there and maybe the tips of the bone starting to show. That's a good sign that it's cooking well. Here we go. We're going to do 2 teaspoons. This is a half, so you're going to put 4 of these little halves to make 2 teaspoons of onion powder. This is also a great spice that I keep handy. These 4 spices, or 5, with cilantro and lemon, they're always the best spices, and I keep them handy for a lot of things. I use them differently in chicken, even fish when I make fish. So here's your cumin, or comino in Spanish, ground cumin, and you're gonna put a whole teaspoon of that, or you can put a couple of halves. And again, while you're mixing this and you're smelling the, you want to taste a little bit of the soup, the water, and see what it tastes like. You want to add more of it, then it's to your liking. Here is ajo, which is garlic powder. And I usually just go like a container this big. I kind of just go around the top. I fill the whole top layer of this pot with it. So I mix that in. Keep mixing that in. And then again, you got all these. I'm gonna go ahead and mix the rest of this. Later on in the video, I actually, after this video, I tasted it and I wanted some more of this tomato spice in it. So I went ahead and added this tomato spice. Here you go. You start mixing. Keep mixing it. And then you're going to check your chicken again. You see how it's cooking. See the end there. The bone is showing a little bit. So that's a good sign. And you keep mixing this. And if you want to taste it later, it's fine. It's not going to make you sick. Next, we're going to go ahead and add cilantro. Now, this is optional, while you're mixing this, I add these two ingredients, cilantro and lemon. So I'll squeeze lemon into it already because I like lemon and cilantro flavor to really mix into the chicken and the bone. So after I do that, I go ahead and boil the whole piece of lemon, which later I take it out, of course. You want to take it out before your guest comes. You won't want to serve them a slice of lemon, of cooked lemon. So you just throw these two pieces, you squeeze it out, and then you throw them in there and let them cook with everything. It'll concentrate a lot of that lemon flavor into the chicken and the soup. So there you go. You mix the cilantro and it smells great. It smells really good. All right. Well, as we see here, we're starting to look at our chicken again, and we're seeing how it's cooking really good. And we're checking it. And we're checking the leg. The leg looks good. It's cooking well. Now, when it comes to vegetables, you're going to want to put your potatoes first. You want to get these and put them first because they take a little longer to cook and to soften up. So you're going to go ahead and take all your potatoes and put them in there. Again, if you want to leave the skin on them, it's up to you. I like the skin. It gives it flavor. But if you want to take the skin off and then cut the potatoes, you can do that too. It's to your liking. But you're going to put all your potatoes into the pot already. And you're also going to get your carrots also. You're going to want to put those in because those also take a little bit longer to soften up. So here you go, putting all the carrots, all the potatoes in right now. What you're gonna leave last would be your squash or zucchini, squash and zucchini. I didn't have the yellow, but you're gonna leave those last because they take seconds to soften up. Right now I'm gonna add my celery. Celery also takes a little while to soften up. So you get all the celery, carrots, and your potatoes. You put them all in at the same time. You keep boiling your water. Leave it on high. Okay, so go ahead and stir it. Make sure you stir all your vegetables. They're going to be at the bottom with the chicken. You'll be stirring it. Looking good, looking good. It's smelling really good. So you're going to check your chicken again, and it's looking good. So you can go ahead and stir that up, and then you'll see like your potatoes. Check all that. Next, this is your jalapeno, and like I said before, I cut this in half, and if you want to give it a little kick and a little spice to your caldo, what I do is I just cut a little piece and leave the seeds in it and throw it in there all and just let it cook, marinate, let that flavor just get into your soup. Now, if you don't want spicy, sometimes I take all the seeds out and I'll just throw just the whole jalapeno in there. It won't give it any spice, but if you want to put a lot of spice or a little kick to it, you can go ahead and add that. Okay, now this is about maybe 10-15 minutes later. What you're going to do is you're going to take out a little piece of vegetables like your potato, and you're going to take out, let me see, I'm looking for celery. Here's a little celery. You take that out. Then we're going to look for a carrot somewhere around here. And there it is. Put the carrot there. And this is what's going to be your testers. These are going to be your examples. If you can get a knife and cut right smooth right down your carrot, then it's ready. Your potato should cut right smooth down. And then your celery, if I can get this knife to get right in the middle there. Okay, here we go. Celery. Once you cut that and it's kind of soft, then you're ready to go ahead and add your zucchini or squash or both. I like to use zucchini and squash together, but here we go. We're putting our calabaza. That's what you call it in Spanish, calabaza. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and add these into the pot. You smooth them out, and then you're gonna go ahead and mix it. Mix those around. Okay, and then you're gonna go and keep your pot boiling at high, and then you're gonna let that simmer maybe another good 10-15 minutes, depending. You want to keep checking it because your chicken is ready, pretty much ready. The other vegetables are ready, and you're just gonna wait for your zucchini, squash, yellow squash too. So here you are. You leave it on high, and then 20 or 30 minutes later, here it is, the finished product. Here's your vegetables, nice and soft, not too soggy. And then you have your chicken. Your chicken's very tender. This is a whole piece of chicken.